Okay, we're back. Had a little issue and we're back on again. So the issue is, I got my answer. So I cannot play music from Farming Simulator, which has a license to play that music on Farming Simulator, because the algorithm, the AI thinks it is. They just don't recognize the license. So basically, it's saying I stole it. You're not giving credit. Yeah. Okay. So we just won't play without any kind of music in the background. Until I figure something else out. So the AI is actually doing pretty good, for the horseplay. But I like it a lot better than the actual Giant's um, AI. So yeah, that's actually a lot better program, I think. The only thing I really don't like about it is the way it turns around. But there's another thing I can do to reset this to where it actually go into it turn around, not in the field, but you can turn around the outfield, out of the field. So let me set that up so that way you can get an idea. Let's see here. Oh, wrong one. No, that's right. Come on. Let's see here. There we go. And to reset that, all you have to do is turn it off for a second, turn it back on, and off we go. Now you're fixing to see it actually doing that. So I think the way I do it when I do it by myself is actually a lot quicker. But if you have to have an AI do the work, I think this is a lot better uh, than the GN's AI, because they do the backup thing and then they turn around and they back up and then they go forward, and then they crash into things and they don't know how to go around things. But with the course play, if it senses something in the middle of the field, like you got a little island in the middle of the field, then it actually will go around it and then go continue on where it was at. Now this part of the field's bouncing too, just like the one in front of us. If you remember from yesterday, that far end was really bouncy. So if I buy these two fields, I'm going to try to smooth it out as well. But this is our other oat field here. And me doing it this way will actually give you an idea that the how real life is that you can, if you rent and stuff like that, you don't see how much it actually costs to farm. And just remember, I started out with $100,000, and I'm already in the hole already. But I'm going to go ahead and let this finish do its thing, so you can see how it finishes the end of the field here. My German Shepherd found her favorite little toy, a tennis ball. Yeah, as soon as I own this field, I'll actually smooth this all out so that way it won't be bouncing. And I might do some leveling a little bit, make it less of a steep angle like that, and then make it gradually come up. So this will still be the high end of the field, and it'll be the low end of the field. Now when I plant my corn, I'm going to have it going left and right across this, so that way when you in real life you'll water it and have your rows going up the hill and back down the hill, so that way you can put you can water it from the top end of the field, the upper side, and then it'll roll down to the bottom end of the field. And then in some cases, like we do on our farm, we actually have it collect into a canal or the lake, and then we'll take a relift and run it right back through our underground water system. Not too many farms around the area have that underground watering system, so we're kind of unique on that. Our land, that we do rent out our land a little bit more than everybody. I mean, as far as money, we we charge more for rent, but the farmer does a lot less. One, there's a lot less work watering the field. Number one. Number two, resources are the use of his resources are low. And three, we actually level our land every so often, about every 5 to 10 years. And we also throw down some chicken litter too every once in a while. And we also bush hog our turn rows and keep our turn rows and stuff like that looking really nice and pristine, so that way the farmer doesn't have to worry about that. He can continue working in the field instead of having to deal with that. Other people that rent out their land in the area, it's all up to the farmer. They just collect the rent. That's all they're doing. They just rent collectors. We actually put back some of the money that we get from the rent back into the farm. That way our farm produces a lot better, higher yields. Looks like I'm probably going to do one more fill up before I finish up that last field on fuel. This thing uses a lot of fuel for some reason. Let me check the settings here. I probably, because it shouldn't use this much fuel in one day. Going through 2 to 3 tanks of fuel a day. Usually 1 tank of fuel a day at constant running. Maybe a tank and a half. It also depends on the load that's on the engine as well. I'll find it here in just a minute. Not that. That's not it. So in one of these first two menus, I'm overlooking it for some reason. Oh, there it is. I'm gonna put the low because I don't think it's that real. I don't think in real life that, because I never had a 4440 use that much fuel in one day. It usually lasts, one tank of fuel usually lasts several hours. Now here's where it's going to stop. And that's how course play works. So now we're going to fill up with fuel. And then we're going to go out there and take care of that last fill. back to the field. Last field, I think. There's our stone pile right over there to the right. And that's just from 2 fields. Now, since I used the course play, I gotta reset up the auto steer. For some reason it's not wanting me to activate it. Let me try one more time since I got that window closed. There we go, that's what it was. And then it disappeared. Oh, I see what it is. I gotta go back into the course play and get rid of the previous field's GPS settings for the AI. So we're going to go here, hit clear current course, go back, and then restart the auto steer. And now it's going to stay. What they need to do right now is try to get a device here that we can actually have actual controls like a real tractor should. We'd be able to set the throttle and be able to almost did. Try that again. I gotta change one more setting. That's better. it down a little bit. It's going a little bit too fast. I thought I messed up. I knew I messed up. I was like, man, this thing's not lugging like it's supposed to. Let's try that again. This field's got bigger end rails on the end of it, so turn rails on the end of each side. So I'm just skipping every other, and then I'm gonna skip every other coming back. Once I'm done with this field, we're going to go and see the traffic and see if they are actually, they have the little tick marks on top of their, on top of the ground. So you can see this auto drive setup. So wherever the AI cars go, it's going to go automatically put that onto the roads. And where they don't go, I got to put I gotta make a track for them. When I start getting a bigger, making more money and got more land, I can start using AI and doing this a lot faster. Then I can buy more, rent more land, and then buy that later, and then whatever. Now let's talk about the auto drive a little bit more and some of its features. If you look here, you'll see like a little waypoint here. You can add waypoints. You can record the track here, and then there's two ways of recording it. You can have directional and bidirectional. If you left click, it's directional, and if you right click, it's bidirectional. Means you can go that same track will go both ways, but be very cautious about that. If you have like semi trucks coming in and out, you may have them go head on. And I think in some cases they'll actually wait until the track is clear and then go again, and then send another truck back. So if you got two trucks going to the drop-off point, then while one gets there and the other one's coming through on that bi-directional track, and then it will wait until that track is clear, and then it will go start on its way through the bi-directional track. But if you have a one-way track, then you don't have to worry about that. And then the little, let me turn it around real quick. Let me try that again. Dadgummit. Go out here so I can see where I'm at. There we go. Oh, we're cooking a little cold. Now, before GPS and everything and auto steer and stuff like that, you didn't have perfect straight lines like this, and you could skip every other one. You basically had to turn around right on the dime and do that. And there's another feature that on the third, I don't know if consoles have this or not, but I can show you here in just a minute. This is actually pretty cool, but I'm going to show you when I get to the end of the field here. I can actually lock individual brakes. So I'm going to lift it up. See how my left duals are not turning as much as my right duals? Oh, I turned so sharp that the let me go back the other way. Oh, wrong brake. See how I'm turning really, really fast? It's called split brakes. It's actually a mod that we have, at least on PC. I don't know if they have it on the... it works better whenever you got a 3-point, not something that you're pulling behind. From now on, whenever I talk about mods, most of it's going to be PC and not console, but you console guys can look and see if that mod is there. It may or may not be there, because you only got so many buttons on a controller, or if you get the farming simulator side panel, that'll free up some buttons on your controller that you can put stuff like that on there. If you can actually rekey your controllers and stuff. I don't know if you can or not. I wasn't able to do it on FS19, but you know, but on 25, actually on the PC you can. like the end of this field is right here in this area is a little rough. But if I was actually had this field, I'd have this field all the way up to the edge of that tree line if I can. So look at those ripples on the left on the ground. I guess after I get this planted and harvested, I'm going to try it with rented land. If I can't do it on rented land, then I'll buy it, I'll do it. Interesting. In real life, that would be a rough ride. I'm kind of overlapping a little bit, so I need to widen out my spacing a little bit on that disc. But since this is my last field, I'm just going to go ahead and let it go at the moment. I think every equipment I'm going to use from now on, I'm going to bring it up a little bit. Just pretty lugging pretty hard right now. It's supposed to be going about 10 miles an hour. Speeding back up again. A little bit of hill right there, so I'm probably going to have to, cut this a little bit and make it kind of a downward hill again. It's like a hill in the middle of the field. So if I was actually having to water this field, I would have to put pipe across the top of that ridge and shoot the water in two directions. Which I've seen it done in real life, but it's not optimal. But you gotta do what you gotta do. Some farmers don't have the money or the permission to level somebody's rented land, but they don't have the money to do it on their own land sometimes. And that's why I rent a little bit higher, because we will go up there and we'll cut that off and level it out, and then we'll throw some chicken litter on top of it. Having that chicken litter and stuff on there will actually make organic matter, which makes it good. You want that dark black soil, that's what you want. You don't want nothing that's not any other color. the most fertile is the dark color. Now, when it comes to when it comes to the fertilizer, you got to have nitrogen, phosphorus, and trying to think of the other one. There's three main fertilizers that farmers use. Now, potash is another thing you get. Now, potash is that stuff whenever you burn wood and stuff like that, that white ashy looking stuff. That's actually got a lot of potassium in it, and that's one of your fertilizers. You can actually burn that, put it in a broadcaster for your yard or something like that, and you can spread it across your yard and give your yard a little boost on nutrients, and it's pretty free. Just don't let it get wet. So if you're going to burn it on a good day and collect that and put it in a little tow behind broadcaster or push behind broadcaster and go ahead and distribute it out on your lawn or garden if you have a garden too. Then once you get it on the ground, then you can wait for a rain and you can water it and it'll go into the soil. Then you just got to worry about nitrogen and the other nutrient that's needed. It's three nutrients. Then you just got to worry about those three. And they got kits that you can get like Ace Hardware or some. I think they have Ace Hardware. They should. They got kits to where you can actually test your soil and see what kind of fertilizer it needs, how much moisture is in it. And I've got one of those kits. Fits in a little bitty toolbox that I got. It's a really tiny toolbox, and some of them have little tablets you got to put in there for testing, and it'll let you know what kind of nutrients and how much moisture you need for the soil, and then you correspond that with how much water you're going to need for that plant that you're trying to grow, that crop you're trying to grow. Now, it's small scale. It's not like in real life. In real life, you got bigger kits, or you got to take it to somebody and get it tested. But that's pretty decent for a garden size or yard. Almost done with this bit. Now, like I said in another live broadcast, that you can actually work a whole farm with one tractor. You just got to make sure that tractor is pretty universal. And if you've got a small operation like this 4440 will be just fine. And it's an older tractor, but the old iron is actually pretty good. Because a lot of times it's been well taken care of. A good farmer will take care of their equipment. especially one that doesn't have a whole lot of money to spend on new equipment. You don't need new equipment to farm. Is it nice? Yes, it is, but new equipment does cost a lot more money. And now with the right to repair issue that's going on, it's going through the Supreme Court right now. It's a lawsuit amongst other farmers and stuff against John Deere. Now, cases they got they made it to where you have a right to repair your own equipment. And since Case is part of Case IH is part of CNH, so it's New Holland. New Holland, you got the right to work on that equipment. Once you buy it, it's yours. It seems like with the John Deere's though, it's more like you basically bought the right to use the equipment, but it's still not yours, because if something goes wrong, you got to pay out the wahoo to get it looked at, because you can only go to a dealer. You can't do it yourself at your own farm. You can't do it. You can't have some third-party shop work on your tractor and stuff. You got to take it to the company. Now, Case in New Holland, that's a different story. Massey Ferguson, I'm not sure if Massey Ferguson is that way. I haven't heard too much in the news about Massey Ferguson doing that. Just the two big major ones, Case IH and New Holland, and which is part of Case IH as well, and John Deere. John Deere is being the one that wants to do that. Now, the founder of John Deere, he wanted to make it easy for the farmer to work on their own equipment, and that was his philosophy at first. And the company's gone away from that philosophy, and they're actually trying to make you pay for a subscription to actually, work to use your equipment. They're trying to make more money off the farmer that the farmer doesn't have to give. You're paying basically for the name, first of all, and then you're paying for a subscription to actually use that equipment. Yeah, it's getting ridiculous these days. Everything's going to a subscription-based thing. Everything's a subscription nowadays, and that's how companies are making their money these days. They're not making their money off the equipment itself. They're making money off of subscriptions now. In some cases, they'll make the equipment cheaper, but then you got to pay a subscription to use the equipment. Learned that the newer vehicles nowadays are going back, getting away from touchscreens and going back to regular buttons. And that's because if the air conditioning, if the screen goes out, you have no air conditioning and no radio, no anything. It's pretty much dead, and you can't really drive until you replace that screen. And how long are they going to make those screens? Is there a third party going to make those screens or something? Or are you just stuck with a vehicle that doesn't have a screen there that controls anything? And that's a big concern nowadays. And so now auto manufacturers, because Europe has mandated that the air conditioning and the radio controls, all that stuff is separate now. So if something goes bad, then that you can still operate the vehicle. And this cash for clunkers thing they did back in 2009, it really messed up the used market deal, because everybody depended on used vehicles, because some people can afford new vehicles, and then the people that can't afford new vehicles but want newer vehicles, they get the used ones. Because a lot of people will lease those vehicles and they turn them in, and then they turn around and sell them as used vehicles, and that's how a lot of people get vehicles, newer vehicles. They go for the used market. I've only bought one new vehicle in my lifetime, and now I'm not worried about new vehicles anymore. I just want to get a vehicle that has low mileage now. And it's about the same way with tractors nowadays. It's getting that way with tractors. And I hope it doesn't get that far to where everything's on a touch screen. I thought it was going to be a big issue whenever they did electric over hydraulic controls. And it's not really that bad now that now it's been out for a while. You can actually get parts for it, stuff like that. I plan on building me a garden tractor with electric over hydraulics, so that way I don't have any levers. Currently right now I got in the shop is I'm building a 3-point disc right now, and I'm almost finished with it. I had one little mishap, and that's because the third arm on the top arm there is a little bit too long, and I'm going to have to move that piece back. And next on my project is a dirt bucket. I already got the bucket part of it. I'm taking a really old homemade scoop that you see you can get for a small tractor, and I'm going to make it a drag type. Pretty cool. I like it. I really like it. And I got the tires for it and everything. I got the steel for it. Using Auguster at this time. I'm actually guiding it this moment. It would be kind of cool if I can put a laser on top of it and I can laser level some small acreage. That would be kind of cool. But right now I can use it, I can freehand it and kind of eyeball it. There's ways of leveling land without the laser. I call it the old ways, and so I'm going to try to do it the old way. But those laser level kits are like $5,000 for just a transmitter and receiver, and that's I can't even handle that. I did find one on Facebook Marketplace that they were selling theirs for like $800, and I don't have $800 to give them for that. So I was like, I don't really need it anyway, because I'm not going to use it that much, and that's too much money to spend on to do something that's not very often. You dig a pond with it, and then every once in a while I'll drain the pond and get all the silt and stuff out of the bottom of it, and spread that silt across the area where I'm going to build a garden or something like that, because there's nutrients in that silt. Picking up the tidbits that I'm leaving behind. Because I'm fixing to turn in the disc, and while I'm turning in the disc, I'll grab the clamp. And bring it back so I'm not wasting the trip. And then I'll hook onto the stone picker. So I think for now, once I get this done, I'm going to call it for today, and then we'll do the stone picking up next time. Finished. Let's go ahead and turn this in. Let's get our planter. We're going to do the cedar first and turn that in, and then we're going to go and use the planter. Let's speed this thing up. For right now, I can only be able to borrow up to $500,000 at the moment. Since I don't have to worry about fertilizing, I'm going to be okay a little bit on that. I might even be able to pick up some land because there is land auctions as well on here, and I might pick up a piece of land for pretty cheap. And also they have dynamic prices on here too. If you look at the fields and stuff, you'll see a plus or a minus. You don't want to buy it when it's in the plus, you want to buy it when it's in the minus. Now, if you have a land auction or something like that in real life and you still got a crop out in the field, the land's no longer yours, but the crop is. If you sell your land before your crop's out. The new owner of the land legally has to let you harvest your crop out of there and get it out of there. Then once it's out of the field, then it's the new owner's field now to do what he wants. That's how it fits in the contract. If it's not in the contract, they can pay you for the crop as well, and that's going to cost more. Most people just want the land, and they'll agree to buy the land and let you keep your crop. Before we turn this in, let's see if there's any good land that's for sale. Let's go ahead and park here right quick. Let's check out the land prices right quick. Just curiosity. So like this field right here next to me, it's a plus 19.4. You don't want that piece of land, even though it's, you can probably buy it, but it's still too high. See, like this is negative 13 and it's 77,000. You know, that's not too bad actually. I can just go ahead and buy it. This right here is a negative 3.3. This in here is a negative 3.3, negative 3.3, 2.3, and negative 3.1. And this one here is a negative 24. I might actually go ahead and buy that. I might pick that one up and this one. So let me, so that means I gotta come over here and plow this up, or this up, and get that one going too. So I need 151,000, so let's say 152, and we need a 78. Oh. That should be enough. Doing the math in my head. So let's go ahead and just go, oh, I can't buy it because I'm leasing it. Okay. Let's go ahead and buy that then. I have to wait. That's a negative 2. That's a 48 plus 48. That's too much. That's a plus 48. Plus 18. Plus 19. Now a lease, that's, I got that lease for 12 months. That's too much. What about the woods behind me? So now we own this piece. Now we need to turn around, come back, and dish that up. Is there any other land that's in decent price right now that I can take off somebody's hands? I don't want to go too much into that. It's negative 13. I could probably pick that one up too. Oh, look, a train. Choo choo. These I definitely can't afford. They're too many, they're too big. Maybe these. Negative 13. 7. Because I gotta make sure I got plenty of money to be able to do the rent and stuff like that on the other land I've got leased. Let's look at that land right quick and see what it looks like. And if it looks good, then tomorrow we'll disc those up. It looks like it's hilly. Yeah, that's pretty hilly, but I might be able to go ahead and buy it and see how it dips down towards that direction and comes back up. I may try to level that out a little bit. Not this time, but next time. So make sure I'm looking at the right one. Nope, I'm not looking at the right one. It's the next one. See how much of a hill that is? That needs to go. Here's what I'm looking for. It's this land. It goes up in a hill, up in an angle like that too. So yeah, I can deal with that. Let's go ahead and park the tractor here. And I will start disking that to next time. It's a little far away from the farm, but that's okay. Hell, that's a pretty decent price too. But I think I got more than one I can handle at the moment. Look at all those different contracts. Now that one says there's what? A pedigree horse. I might do a contract like that to go help that farmer out. Go get that pedigree horse. And what's this contract? It's a delivery. I can probably do that too. I got a truck and trailer. It's 4 hours and 27 minutes left on that contract, and which that's too easy. I just don't know where to take it to. I guess it'll take it. I gotta ride that horse though. Alrighty. Well, like I said before, now let the tractor cool down the turbo, and we'll shut that off. I'll go ahead and flip into the truck. Yeah, I know I said I wouldn't. I'm not going to make y'all wait that far, so I'm going to go ahead and unhook this. Let's go look at the traffic and see if the auto drive is showing. This truck's pretty damn loud. I know there's traffic up here, so I'm going to look up here and see. Yep, there they are. They got the little tick marks on the top. That's what auto drive looks like when it's above the tractor. So whenever you get into the game, it asks you if you want to auto-generate the track. This is what I mean by track. It'll follow these right here, and you can actually make it to where it'll go up here and come up here, and then put you down a waypoint here. And then if you need fuel, you can send the AI to go get fuel and come back. So we're going to have to lay down some track, and I'll show that on a different time. So let's get this truck back to the farm, and then we're going to go and call it for today. Catch some air right here. Nope, no air. Park the truck right here, and we're going to call it a day for right now. So until next time, I'm going to call it a do. And since I was welding without a welding helmet, I'm going to go and see if they can fix the holes in my eyes.